So while the session is going on, please feel free to interrupt me at any point of time. You can also chat in if you do have any questions, so that if not spontaneously, I may not see the chat, but I'll definitely revert back in the same session as well. You can raise your hand. There's an option to raise your hand as well. Cool. So what is this session about? So we are, I understand there are people from different time zones, but what we are going to discuss here about the time zones, I'll come back later, but let's talk about what the session is about. We're going to cover in depth about Python and AWS. Okay. Again, when I say in depth, it is never possible to cover Python 100% in depth for at least for 6 months or so. Okay, even if you take 6 months. Okay, I'll tell you why in a while. But what we are going to focus on in this training is it's entirely interview oriented. Half of the candidates who joined the session were about to enter an interview. They were strictly planning to crack the interview. So this training is meant to provide you two things. One, we will live in a story where a pseudo experience will be created for you guys. So ideally speaking, you will be having real-time experience after this course. It may sound funny, but it works. It definitely works for sure. Okay, you can refer to the candidates that who have attended already, or you'll understand when you see some couple of class sessions. Okay, so we will be imparting you a story in parallel to whatever we discuss. Okay, for example, I teach for different domains. Okay, I teach for DevOps, I teach for data engineering, I teach for data science as well. Okay, so giving you a real-time exposure experience along with the projects. For example, if I am teaching you data engineering, I'll Python with AWS related to data engineering. All right. So in that case, I'll be making sure you are familiar with the table names, the schema names of your setup, the conditions, and how your setup is built, how the deployment process goes on, what is the life cycle of your entire sprint. Stuff like that will be fed up with you, will be fed into you from the half of the batch. Okay, from half of, let's say, some 21st class, let's say, probably somewhere around. Okay, but this class will be split into 3 different categories, I would say. So when I say that this will be divided into 3 different categories, first would obviously be Python. Will be starting. This will be a starter point, and then we enter into AWS, and then so-called we parallelly inject you guys this real time when you are at the end of Python and about to start AWS. Okay, so in that scenario, we will split the class into 2 parts. So first half of it will be the domain knowledge. Second half of it will be the real-time exposure. All right. So having said that, we will be giving you few different documentations indeed. So one will be detailed documents. Detailed doc is like MS Word document. These are prepared, keeping the people who are starting from the scratch in mind. All right. So this will be very detailed, and our expectation is you should never open these documents while you are having these documents. You should never open these documents, because the ideal scenario, while you are attending the sessions, you should be able to get everything, understand everything that are embedded inside these documents. That's the ideal expectation. I will show you in a bit what these documents are, and I will be providing you PPTs. These PPTs are having 2 types of things. We took a lot of effort in preparing these PPTs. This will have either bullet points and or whatever. It will be having a box with inputs and outputs. Okay, so the program samples. And the best part is they are all editable. You can directly copy paste into your interpreter, play around with that. So the expectation of these PPTs is when you are about to enter an interview, just before you enter an interview, right? So if you can, just a second, I'll just open up one. Yeah. If you have any doubt about any concept in Python, right? So let's say you have some doubt in Python strings, okay? Whatever the interviewer can ask on strings, okay, is embedded inside it. And whatever, it also covers what most of the things that your real-time setup, okay, I'm not sharing. Cool. It covers two things. It covers whatever your interviewer could probably ask. Okay, it starts from the scratch. It says that strings literals, they are immutable. They're compared with other languages. There's something called overloaded concatenation of string, and then there is something called input and output. It is completely editable. You can just copy paste it, modify it, do whatever. All right. So this is just a start. So you'll be having most of the things that is expected in an interview or in the real time, because obviously most of the things that are used in the real time will be the ones that our interviewer asks. But then, yeah, so this is summary of what you must have done as part of revision. All right. So these PPTs are this PPT is something that you need to focus on while after the sessions are done. Okay. So for a quick revision, I would say. And apart from that, what you will get is you will be getting spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet. We will share a spreadsheet. What this will have is, see, Python is an open source, okay? When you say open source, it has a lot of things that will be accumulated. There will be a lot of things that will be accumulated day by day. All right. So even I'm a guy who contributed to web scraping modules in Python. You and me also can be a contributor of Python. All right. So in that case, there will be a lot of updates. Okay. Both in both the versions. Actually, updates are stopped in 2 versions of Python, but I'll come back to that. But definitely expect a lot of updates horizontally and vertically. Horizontally in the sense, many new modules can come. Vertically in the sense, the existing modules, new features will come. All right. So all those things will again be summarized while we are discussing, because the PPTs may not be updated for sure, because every day we may expect something new in Python. All right. So for the same reason, we also follow something like this, a similar kind of a document. Just Python. Okay. Cool. So it starts with this. These are the topics we discussed. These are the areas where the updates are. And if there is something worth mentioning, I'll be mentioning that in a small sentence. So it will be a quick revision for you also. All right. So all these things, it's a sample that I've taken from the last batch, the Feb batch. All right. So it's for Python, whatever the updates you see. All right. And for AWS, data engineering, DevOps, you have other sheets. Cool. Now, apart from this, you will have a feedback form. Okay. So it's a Google form again. It's like, I understand with I have a lot of experience in dealing multiple batches. So I do know what happens is, if I fit in your shoes, I do have some doubt when I'm running the session. I do not understand something, or I do not listen something, but I do not want to disturb the flow of the session, the way it is going on. That's how my mind works, and I'm sure people of such mindsets will definitely be there in every branch. I'm seeing that day by day, batch by batch. All right. So but what happens is, you'll be the sore loser in that. So when you get a doubt and you stuck there at a particular checkpoint, you cannot move further because of that. All right. So in that case, maybe you can anonymously put me a feedback about this. Hey, I missed this. Can I have the session repeated for this? Or if my frequency is too fast, hey, you know what, you're not teaching good. Please slow down, because some ABC is giving me the feedback, let's say. Okay. I did not know that ABC is giving me feedback. It's all anonymous. I'll just receive the feedback. That's it. Okay. So that I can tune myself for every batch, So it's been working wonderfully all across the batches, and I hope it will do the same for us. All right. Now, if you do not have any doubts till now, or anything to discuss till now, I will go in depth about what we cover in Python, what we cover in AWS, and real time as well. I'll just pause for a minute or maybe 30 seconds. If you have something, just let me know. Okay, all clear, right? Got it. You can also ping in the chat maybe. Sure thing. While I'll be waiting for that, I'll just proceed on. Yeah, I'll just take 5 more minutes and then we'll wind up why Python is the thing that we are going to focus on. All right. So for 2 good reasons. Okay. Let's take up a company, an organization. Okay. So if you take an organization, if you want to build an organization, okay, from scratch, the IT department, entire IT department, okay, what you would or might need is the front end, right, the middleware, okay, and the back end. It's not the end. There's a security team, okay, data analysis team, like to maintain the data warehousing solutions, okay. So basically there'll be like the data analysts, data engineers, data scientists, reporting, right? And again, depends on the, in general, this will be the stack, and then if you're designing a gaming company, it depends, other interfaces comes into picture. If you're a cybersecurity company, the other interfaces will come into picture. But in general, let's say this will be the common stack, okay? So if you want to build a front end, you have to hire a guy who knows JavaScript or any version of JavaScript. If you name the versions of JavaScript, it's like hell or out of them, okay? You can say the vintage Cordova, Angular versions. You can also name Angular versions, you know, it's like 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus like that. And then React Native, React with Redux. Redux is another framework built for mobile apps, and then Ionic. So if I keep on listing it, it's like a very big list, okay, for JavaScript framework. So for middleware, or else if I don't want JavaScript, okay, the next option that I would go is PHP. Again, Laravel, WordPress, whatnot. So PHP has its own frameworks, okay. Basically, I'll have to hire a person who knows JavaScript. If he knows JavaScript, it's not the end of the story. I'll have to still make sure he knows the framework that I am interested in, okay? And the entire team should be with that framework. Now, middleware, same thing. I can put on Node.js or Java or C#, okay? So here's another good option for front end as well, Sidecore you can take. This is built on C# as well. So there are different flavors, okay? You'll have to hire everybody from different frameworks. Let's say you hired everybody from different frameworks, okay? You have ideal frameworks for the current day, okay? Forget about the future, it may come up with new frameworks, but for now, I've selected the best resources for the best frameworks, okay? Now, the middleware has to communicate with the front end. So ideally, not expect the Java guy to know about JavaScript, right? So he may not be the expert in two different languages. So usually it's not the case. All right. So if you talk about backend, it will be usually database. Okay. Your database will be again Oracle. If it is OLTP, OLAP, depends on scenarios. Teradata or Redshift DB. Again, you name it, you have many databases. MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, name it, you have a lot of DBs. So select your database solution and data warehousing solution, hire a guy. Again, this backend has to communicate with middleware. Okay. So because your website is the heart of your organization, okay? The website is always a 3-tier architecture nowadays, okay? it will be your front end. It will be your API, the middleware, and this will be the database, the backend. Okay, this should be aligned in any architecture. Okay, so may it be microservices architecture, SOA architecture, or monolithic architecture, or any other design pattern. It doesn't matter. Anything, it will be like front end, API, database. That's a blinder. All right. So if you want to communicate, make a communication happen between these three things, it's like what the database talks is a foreign language for this API guy, isn't it? So the same goes to the security as also for the data warehouse. All right. And one of the worst part for this is most of these languages are not open source, which means if you find a bug, shut your mouth and fix an alternative. The more the worst thing that you can do, or the best thing that you can do is raise a bug issue from different email IDs to the official portal, such that there are already some hundreds of bugs they're dealing with on priority. So if you want to fix your bug, it doesn't it's not enough to post as a single person, because its priority level will be very low. So post this bug as many times as possible from different IDs. So that's again some hack that is, you don't have choice but to do that. All right. So having said that, let's take the same scenario. Okay. So same scenario. You need front end, middleware, database, data warehousing solution. I mean, the business intelligence guys, data analyst, data engineering, data scientist, reporting. Let's stop here. Okay. Now, if you want to use Python, there are frameworks like Django, Kudu, Web2py, Pyramid, Flask. It goes on, list goes on. Previously, what is the list? It's like the competition between different languages existing, but now these frameworks will support front end as well as middleware. The database, we have something called ORM, okay, object relational mappers in Python, where you do not have to learn about SQL at all. You can operate, you can execute every command using your SQL. Data analysis, Python is the best competitor for MS Office, but the go around here is, if there is big data, your MS Office documents cannot deal with them, but you can deal with unlimited amount of data in Python. Okay, this has been very recently inherited by Java in Java 8. Okay, we call it as streams, but again, they are not completely compatible with few aspects. I'll come to that point as well. But we have something called generators and generators, which are implemented by means of comprehensions. Some concept, let's say, some alienated concept for now. There is some concept in Python where, let's say, you have 1 GB RAM, okay, and your document is 100 GB. Let's say 100 GB data. It's possible nowadays. I'll explain that as well, okay? So you can read this data, you can do data cleansing, you can do manipulations for this data with 1 GB RAM in your system using Python without installing any modules, without the usage of third-party packages at all. Simple Python, that's it. That's the beauty of it, all right? And so pandas, numpys are some libraries. Pandas, sorry about the writing. So there are a few libraries that are helpful for data analysis, and when your MS Office fails, these will not fail. This will come into picture usually when you think that your MS Office fails. Where the MS Office fails, it cannot load GBs of data. It will die. It cannot perform analytics over the GBs of data. All right. So your data engineering setup. Nowadays, the recent update is data engineering is an advanced, one step advanced technology when compared to business intelligence. All right. In your business intelligence, you will buy an ETL tool like Informatica, Talent, or Sisense, or any other ETL tool. All right. So it's ETL is a methodology where you will extract, transform, and load your data. Okay, that's a data warehousing solution. But what will happen is people will buy the ETL tool for some millions per year license, and then they'll use it. It's just a drag and drop. Now, with a new update and new migrations into the cloud, with the help of Python, there are also other options backed by other languages like Ruby, but we have a serverless ETL that is possible. Serverless ETL. It is possible by Airflow. Airflow is a tool that is built on Python. All right. So it's like that. Whenever your job is running, that's where the servers will just come out of the blue. And then after your job is run successfully, everything will be killed. There is no server at all, which means you're not paying for yearly license. All right. So whatever you are using it for is what you are paying. So it's like optimizing your servers, optimizing your cost. All right. So we'll talk about this as well. And data science, I don't have to sell Python for data science at all. And I'm not really selling Python, to be frank. I'll tell the cons of Python as well in a bit. So R is almost dead. Now the competitors are Python and Julia. But then Python has rich flavors of data science. But yes, R is still alive for few statistical purposes. Okay. But then not so long, guys. Julia will take over for sure. And for reporting, you don't have to use your reporting tool at all, like Tableau, Power BI. They are very costly, all right? So even business objects is costlier. So with Python, you can custom build your reports, all right? And the best part here is if you see the bug fixing thing, okay? If you see the a language like Java, okay, there are some 5,000, maybe 500 to 1,000, let's say, some dedicated employees working on the enhancement or improvisation in Java. They'll be receiving the bugs. This number again is just radical. It's not an accurate one. So let's say some X number of employees working on pure Java development and enhancement. So they'll have to receive your bug. So whatever their brain can think of will be the solution. That's it. All right. But for Python, you and me can also be the contributor. I'll show you how to become a contributor and how to fix the bugs. There are a lot waiting for you if you are so interested in this language. All right. So as part of the course content, what we will have is, okay, before entering that, I'll just have a quick 10-second pause. So if you have something to discuss, just let me know. You guys there? Am I audible? Just checking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
You can understand me, right? The sentence stuff is okay, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can understand.
Thanks. So I don't believe in preparing the course contents and disclosing that as a session wise, because it doesn't go like that, guys. Because when I plan a session for one week, let's say, that will be 5 sessions. Okay. So it will not go as planned because of the feedbacks that I get, or people need some more in-depth details about it. Maybe they need more examples, stuff like that. But as usual, the people will they will have a tendency to ask course content, session-wise plan, blah blah blah. So for those who need that, this will be the course content. I'll be happy to share with you session-wise. So the key concept here that I want to tell is we will go a bit slow, actually very slow, I would say, in the beginning sessions, because for Python, there is something for any programming language, all right? So the basic data types are important. They are building blocks. Then comes data structures, simple data structures like list, tuple, set, the hash maps or dictionaries, stuff like that. Okay. After that, there will be something called collection objects, advanced collection objects. All right. And then there is something called advanced data structures. So in Python, to be very specific, if you know how data types and data structures work, okay. So I have a beautiful formula where you can get to know about the whereabouts of any object in Python. Okay, we will start that practicing through the introduction of data types, data structures, how they are built upon. So for example, in Java or C hash, there is an object, or I mean, there is a data type called integer. You do not know how it is implemented, but it is implemented, you'll have to use it. But we will not discuss like this in our class. So how int is built upon, what is the source code for it, and what are the actions that it can perform, and how it can perform. Can you change these actions? So for example, 2 plus 3 in Python will give you 5. That's a very straightforward, simple code. Okay, but why is it able to add these two integers? Can I make 2 plus 3 to give us 6? Yes, you can. Okay, modifying the functionality of addition, modifying the functionality of multiplication. So that will not be in the first class itself, because it will be a bit scary if I include in the first class, but then we will discuss about that. All right. So if you know how these data types and data structures were built upon or designed, then you will know or get acquainted with the other objects. Everything is an object in Python. It is built on or upon OOPS concepts. All right. And OOPS is never scary just because of Python. OOPS is definitely scary when you talk about C++ or Java or any other thing. But I mean, it's my personal experience. But it was it was made so easier that you don't feel the burden. Okay. So we will definitely get delayed. You feel that delay taking place while we are discussing about data types and data structures. And after that, we will catch up the speed. We will discuss about the functions, the conditionals, loops, functions, and then once you are done with the functions and all, we will discuss about modules and packages. Once we are done with packages, you will be able to release or write your own packages. It's very easy. No rules, no restrictions barred. Just a Python file can act as a module. Group of Python files with one empty Python file can form a function. All right. So can form a package, sorry. So the only requirement is just a Python file with a particular naming convention called __init__.py. So that's it. The third party package, whatever you want to build, is ready. So that's that easy in Python. All right. Once we are done till this modules and packages, you will be knowing how to build a logic and how to execute it in Python. But that's not it. You'll have to know how to write your code very beautifully. Okay. How to handle your errors. So for example, if you write a code to calculate A by B, okay, you should also see that B should never be 0 because it will be 1 by 0. It's an exception, infinity. All right. Like that, you need to catch your inbuilt errors, exception handling. Okay. So there is inbuilt exception handling available in Python. We'll try to deal with that too. So again, file handling, dealing with files. OOPS concepts comes after that. But again, I cannot guarantee you the sessions goes according to the sequence, but we will cover everything. All right. So, and then multi-threading, we will not cover too much of it because Python does not, using Python, you're not recommended to deal with multi-threading often because it's a bad practice, as there is something called GIL concept. That is a headache in C language, but sadly we inherited the same thing into Python. Okay, because how it started is there is C language, there is Java, and then there is C hash. Okay, C sharp. So these are the major competitors, and they are not open source at that time. All right. So there is someone called Godfather of Python. He's Gerda van Rossum. He is a pro in C language. But he found a lot of bugs. Same issue. No one is rectifying the bugs because it was in 1990s. Okay, there's no one to take a look at it also. So what he did is he wrapped up all the code that is available in the C language into functions and did some kind of a mixture and then released Python. That's called as C Python or just simple Python. Okay, that does the trick, and it's like it avoided the need of bug fixing because it's his language now. All right. Then when world felt the difference, Java people also came into picture. Hey, you know what? I'm also a pro in Java. Let me try to wrap up these functions into Java and then produce something similar to Python. That's called as Python. Okay, Python that was built upon Java. And there comes these guys who are fed up with C hash. It's also not open source. We also have bugs. That's called as Iron Python. Okay, so now Python is the superset of all these three now. Whatever you can do with those three base languages, you can do with Python. All right, but why Python is been inherited is another reason we will discuss in first class. This is not the actual reason why Python has been inherited or integrated or used widely across all the systems. The actual reasons are a bit different. We'll discuss that. But then the summary is it's used widely in any system, any framework. You see, an organization can entirely operate just with single Python. Okay, so the communication will happen simultaneously and without any issue between different teams. Okay, so having said that, this is a gist of Python. So I'll not take much of your time. I'll move on to AWS and then real time if you do not have any questions. But again, I pause for 5 seconds, let's say. Oh my gosh, this is demo session, guys. This is for you guys. Whatever you want to ask, please feel free to interact. What's your expectation? You can just say that. Are you getting whatever we are discussing? You can talk about that, anything. Yeah, I see a hand raised. Yes, Priya.
Hi, sir. This is Priya. I joined your session 5 minutes before, so
Okay.
I got late. I was just expecting that it would start from 10 p.m. So from my time, that's why I'm
What time zone
late.
you're operating on?
It's a mountain time zone. I'm living in Denver right now.
Oh, okay, got it. And that's
Yeah.
okay, no worries. I have this recording saved. I'll be happy to.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. I see everybody silent. Maybe Priya might have also be silent if she joined from second one. Okay. If this class is scary, just call out. I'll just slow down. If not, we'll continue. And someone in the chat, please, like everything is good, so that I'll just move on. There is a chat option that is available. You should be able to see that. Cool, guys. Okay. So talking about AWS, okay, there are this entire cloud setup. Okay, previously it's like on-premise. Okay, so when you say on-premise, it's a physical server that you want to buy and then scale up everything physically. Okay, so I'll not take your time to get introduced to cloud in this demo session, but I will just cut short and then save it for later and then discuss about what we are going to discuss on related to cloud. So the main market players in cloud are AWS, GCP, and then Azure. There is something called Oracle, Alibaba Cloud. There are a few other competitors as well, but then they're not big enough to talk about those right now. Okay, cool. So 40% of, actually more than 43 now, 43% of cloud setup entirely is occupied by AWS, all right, out of 100%. And Azure occupies around 30%. So here, these have conquered everything till now, isn't it? So it's like 73% of the cloud is with these guys. Now, why AWS? So we're going to talk about AWS. So we'll talk about why AWS later. Or if you want to talk, maybe you can call it out so that we can talk. But for now, for AWS, there are different levels of certification, and for AWS, what you can do is you can do anything. It's like for a data engineer, okay? Let's say you want to choose your career as a data engineer, you'll have to be trained on something called Snowflake. It's a data warehouse, or Teradata. It's another data warehouse, or any other data warehousing solution. But if you want to be a data engineer in cloud, there is a separate set like Redshift DB you need to, or you can integrate with Snowflake. Okay, so but the basic expectation is a cloud storage platforms. These are all just resources, guys. So cloud has a setup where you can do everything and anything that is available in on-premise. Okay, so for data engineers, for security, for DevOps, actually it is called as DevSecOps nowadays, and that's a new update with the addition of something else, some added responsibility. And admins, actually the concept of admins has been changed completely when the cloud is in place. All right, and the front end guys, UI, and then the UX team, so anything. All right, so everything is available inside the cloud. But the major difference is if you are in on-premise, if you are operating on on-premise server, data engineer, whatever the tools he has access to, right? Other people doesn't have any idea at all. That's not an open area. But let me just log in. So everything is an open plate here. So you can just go to your console, hit on your option. Oh, I'm trying to open this up. I lost my credentials. While I open that, do you have any questions? Obviously no, right? Okay. Yeah. So your AWS console would typically look something like this. You'll not find this one if you're logging in the first time. This is related to compute. Your servers will be there here, okay? All types of servers. This is related to storage. This is related to database, governance and management, containers, the quantum team. Quantum is a very new addition. Security team, cost management, mobile application team, media services, migration services, networking team, machine learning team, the customer support team, the application integration team, AR and VR team. Everything is amalgamated and then given to you guys so that every developer also can see what is there and what the tools, at least if they have access, what is going on there. They can see that. All right. So it's a made easy platform when you talk about cloud, and it's flexible. Previously, in order to order and launch a physical server, it would take a week with a bunch of approvals, but now it'll happen in a minute inside cloud. All right. So AWS has different levels of certification. When you have certification, you will double your chances of getting screened for an interview for sure. Okay. Again, if you have real-time experience, which we are going to impart you guys. All right. If you have this real-time experience, it will be like right now AWS is spread so widely that people are more, but optimization is hardly found. Okay, a person who can optimize the setup he can be seen very rarely in the setup. All right, so if you have that kind of real-time experience, so you will definitely get the chance get this interviews cleared. All right, so the main focus here is if you want to launch a virtual machine here, let's say, you will ideally go. EC2 is a virtual machine, one kind of a flavor. You'll click on EC2, and then actually AWS is not slow. My internet might be slow. Okay, so yeah, so this is something that is running. So I can just launch an instance, select the OS that I want. This is an AMI ISO kind of a thing. We'll talk about all these options. Okay, all these options will talk. When I hit on launch, okay, I acknowledge launch instance. That's it. Your VM is launched. Your virtual machine is launched. Okay. So when I go back to the instance, this is the instance. It is now in initializing and pending state. All right. So how long it took? Merely seconds to launch. But let's see how long it will take to get initialized. Okay. It will not take more than a minute for sure. All right. So that's easy, but in real-time setup, you will never do this. You will never go and touch your screen to click a button to launch a virtual machine. And in real time, you will not have one virtual machine. You will have hundreds of those, and you will have to manage those. In the picture, there is an SDK, there is a CDK that we will use abundantly to control all these resources. That's why, see here, few seconds, right? And it's running already. For now, I'll just terminate this because it costs billing. So the thing is, once you are acquainted with Python, that's where I'll get the confidence that you'll understand the things that are going on or that I'm about to teach on AWS, and we'll pitch into AWS. So, all right. Now, we should focus on one of the certification on AWS. Okay. But again, do not expect very depth. So I'll tell you. So there is a basic certification for AWS. It's a practitioner certification. Okay. And then there is 3 associate level certifications. Okay. There are 2 professional level certifications. All right. And there are specialty certifications which are coming out off and on. All right. And there is one thing called train the trainer certification. So from my previous employer, I was the guy. So it's like from different partners of AWS, we will select each 2 or 3 resources from organizations, and then they will train these guys. Their responsibility is to teach AWS across the globe. So I was one of the guys from my previous employer as part of this the trainer program that was provided by AWS. And this is not for normally this is not for you guys. You'll not get the chance unless you're working in an MNC that is tagged up in a platinum membership with AWS. But yes, you can focus on any of this. This practitioner is not for IT guys at all. These are for sales, marketing, other guys who rely on AWS resources. We will be merely focusing on associate. We can assure you 100% certification guarantee for associate, but not via this training, I would say. This training will ensure you, but all efforts are in your hands, okay? So we'll talk about that. We'll be focusing merely on this associate level certification. And I'd be happy to guide you on these professional and specialty certifications as well. I've cleared all associate and professional certifications and then the trainer certifications as well. So I do believe that I am more than qualified to teach this AWS as well. So unfortunately, Python does not have certification from its core unless you tagged up with third-party organizations. So I'd not touch those. Yeah, that's that. And then we will start about real time. We'll choose one domain like DevOps or data engineering. If not data science, I'd not recommend data science for you guys because most of the guys were beginners. So we'll talk about that later. But this is the gist of how the training goes on. So I'd say I'd like to call off the demo session. We are done. I think I covered almost what I would wanted to say. And I see 3 people who are not able to make it to the session. I'll just share the recordings to them. And yeah, so while we are at this point, I would like to pause myself. I would really want to ask you guys by name, but I would not do that. That's not the thing that I would do, but feel free to tag along the discussion. Is it really what you're looking for? Then happy to continue for the next sessions. Otherwise, you can always comment on, yeah, Hari, see, this is not what I'm looking for. It might be, will this be included? Anything. You can please feel free to discuss. cool. Wow. So everybody are there, right? You're able to hear me, right? Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for answering. So if there are no queries, I would just like to know how it went on. Maybe one of you. See, Priya, you're all again silent. Told you, right? Okay, guys. I'll be in touch with you guys. So feel free to get connected at any point of time. We will probably start this batch on Wednesday or Thursday. I'll let you know because there's another demo plan tomorrow as well. I've taken another one already. So we'll be gathering people and then we'll start maybe on Wednesday or Thursday. So if you don't have any questions, thank you so much for joining. But I'd appreciate if you participated in the discussion. That's okay. A full stack developer with Java, Word, will this course be applicable specifically AWS, similar like Python? Yes. So if you are a full stack developer in Java, so it's like, as I told you, the first part will be in-depth walkthrough around Python. What I would say is you can have the flexibility to compare at every step what you are missing or what you are gaining as part of Java, which is missing in Python or which is having in Python. I'm sure you'll be enjoying the journey in the first half. But yes, you can integrate your AWS resources with Java as well. But it's not that rich and famous for a reason. You will get to know all these things. So, but then the bottleneck here is the major plus point for you would be AWS. And in the market, if you know Python and Java, it's like there is a lot of value for you.
Yeah, Hari.
Yes.
What makes a difference between the Python and Java? Why we need to go with Python when compared to Java? Either all the things we can go with AWS with Java also, right?
Yes, absolutely. So the thing is, as we discussed, there are three bullet point answers, I would say. Okay. So first point is, as I told you before, for an organization, you can run everything with Python. So it formed a centralized platform. So when you say you can deal with Java, I mean, when it comes to AWS, you can only deal with AWS resources with Java. That's it. The line will be cut there, which means still the bridge between front-end developers, database guys, even they are inside the cloud, and integration guys, they will be using some other language. So this still exists. That's why Java is not at all famous when it comes to handling infrastructure of AWS. Okay, that's one thing. And if you want to write, let's say, some 100 lines of code in Java, it takes 1,000 lines of code in Java, let's say. It will be less than half of what you see in Java when you write the same in Python. Okay, and one best feature is you can do monkey patching in Python. Monkey patching in the sense, if there is a software or a third-party module that you are using, you can override that module. You are free to override the source code of your Python entirely. All right. So we can change everything and anything. That's the flexibility. And like I said, there are a lot of pros, and that stands as the reason why Python is being predominant when compared to Java, C#, and C. So the main flexibility is integration is available for every software. So if you say that I know Java with AWS, chances might be low, I would say. You can just try it out, update your so-called portals of Java portals, and then see, create two different portals, update one with Python with AWS, second one with Java with AWS. You'll see the difference. Or you can also see the keyword density in Google Trends about it. So you will understand it. That's why Java is not peculiarly famous or familiar with AWS integration when it comes to infrastructure.
Yeah, okay, okay.
And I got another question here. I want to be a full stack developer. Is this course useful? So yeah, Shruti, depends. Full stack developer in the sense, we will not be covering this full stack developer course specifically for full stack developer, but what we cover here is you don't have to read or get trained from another trainer for front-end related module in Python, back-end related module in Python, so that your full stack covers. It doesn't go like that. You can deal with any module because there is a common formula where we can derive and understand upcoming modules, existing modules, any packages in Python. All right. But then if you specifically want, I also want this HTML, CSS, bootstrap thing. No, sorry, we will not be covering those things here. Are you going to cover Python and AWS? Yes, Python and AWS. I would say more of Python, less of AWS because AWS, whatever you want to get digested, that will be covered. As part of real-time experience, it comes up. Because see here, all these resources are not meant for one person for sure, you see, or one domain, not for sure. All right. So according to the real-time experience domain that we choose, in the middle of the session, we'll do that by polling. We will decide on what resources we need to learn.
Yeah, Hari, is there any specific pre-requirements to be go with before we start?
I would say come with an empty brain so that everything we discuss in class will be a straightforward thing. If you do some exercise and come, maybe you might be confused.
Yeah, okay, okay. And one more thing, previously you said that for C, Python, for Java, like JPython, Iron Python, but what makes the other things like club having all the things coordinated in one Python?
No, we do not have all the things coordinated in one Python, and there is a reason. So these guys who are experts in C has created this, who are experts in Java created this, and C hash also, right? So there is always a competition between these three guys. Whenever there's an update in C, they'll pick it up from Jython modules, all right? Again, that will be picked up by the guys who are developing IM Python. So it's like all hustle bustle happening between these three, and they are always independent, three different libraries. So they are all open sources again, but still you have these three flavors.
Yeah, okay.
They cannot be clubbed because the source code is different. Cool guys, I'll be stopping the recording right away. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day. I'll still wait for you guys to have a discussion. I'm open for that.